What is good? Osiris here. Index Red. I'm playing around with AI music right now. This is my first time really getting into the AI music. So this is Suno. I mean, it's okay. I tried to recreate a vaporwave type song with that one. There's another attempt. That's pretty... I mean, all I said was do a vaporwave song. That's pretty good. In 2 minutes, it made a vaporwave song. I mean, what you have, from my standpoint, using YouTube, you use, if I use all these artists that I like, they get copyright. You can get a strike. You can get a strike if you're not talking over the music. So, hey, bring in AI, bring in the robots. I wonder if those copyright strikes are going to go away after a while, because what you're seeing is even Spotify promoting what I believe is their own AI artists, which is basically, would you look at the time? This is something we've been talking about this for 2-3 years on the channel. Would you look at the time? I didn't realize it would happen this fast for sure though. I was thinking 5 to 10 years, but Spotify, to my knowledge, has its own AI music. Search up real quick. Does Spotify have their own AI artists, meaning in-house AI, not somebody else uploading AI artists? So basically what you're going to see is, I'm going to fact check myself real quick. What you're going to see is YouTube saying we don't need a Tim Pool. I mean, that's not going to happen quickly, but whatever person they can just replace them with avatars and AI. So the internet is trending towards AI. Some people are uncomfortable with that. I don't blame you, but you can't stop it. We've already told you that. My son was asking about that, like, hey, and he said something to the effect of, well, just tell people to stop using AI. I was like, have a seat, son. Let's talk real quick. I understand your thought process, but let's think this through. When cars were invented, when the Model T was made, there is no, we're going to stay on horseback. Not unless there's some type of situation forcing you back to that. Morning. Quest Fanning, long time no chat. Morning. How you doing? I'm just chilling. I mean, I have topics, but I actually want to look at this AI thing, and I just want to kind of get a little bit better at it. I even tried to make a song with lyrics just really quickly. This is 90. So when I go to 90s hip hop, I always go to DJ Premier for some reason. Like, he's just I mean, there's so many other groups, from Company Flow to Wu-Tang, obviously, to many others, but DJ Premier still to this day is like the #1 thing. Like, go to the 90s, make a DJ Premier beat. So this is what I tried to do in the app. Oh, is this acapella or is the beat? Oh, the beat is going to drop on this. Okay. So you can give it lyrics. Anybody mess around with these apps? Okay. Okay, sounds kind of corny, but we'll work with it. The scratching's a little corny, but okay. Okay. It's corny, but it's mine. I'm as red in the feed when the sirens glow red. Truth on the track while the lies play dead. Screens start to shake when the words get said. Whole room stops when the clip gets spread. Every beat drops like the classified leak. When streets when they cut, when the suits turn weak. They strip the news, but the cracks still speak. Index red pulls files that they bury all week. Cameras on and the mask comes loose. Name on the board when
when they tighten that noose. Same four donors keep calling it news. In the tramp on the frames of rods that bruise. Take a trail rise through the think tank halls. Backroom deals written in the long walls. Sponsor fear in the late night calls. Index red yells. When the red bar hits, whole timeline chills. Old foyer drops brand new chills. The classified lines cut through the steels. Index red threads dots like a surgeon with skills. No left, no right, just a locked in view. Who funds war? Who writes true? Who spins crime for a midterm cue? Index red draws circles on a name or two. Index red draws circles on a name or two. Index red draws circles.
There is something just always, it's so bothersome. There's something that's just always a little off with the AI slop. And it's just really annoying. It's like, is this on purpose or not? Where you're like, I could use it, but there's always like 5 to 10% of it that is just like cringe slop. All of it, every single one, even the best at using it. There's some people who are getting crazy at using it. Doing anime. Like they can only do 5-second spots right now with it. So it takes a long, like if you want to do a 3-minute video, you're doing it 5 seconds at a time for the ones who are doing it really good, not even 10. But some of that stuff looks really good. They're doing a lot with the prompts. But that song is it's just something corny about it. The lyrics a little off. The rhyme is a little off. But, the trade-off is it is mine. I mean, I think it's mine because I paid for the month here. I don't know how that works with the copyright on YouTube. But it's at least more. It's definitely more of mine than playing a Busta Rhymes song or something like that. It's whack, but it's mine. What's this one here? Instrumental, I think.
One shadow.
Oh no, this is another lyric one I did.
Turn it back. Yeah.
Okay. A little bit more light.
Yeah.
I like the beat.
Index red in the feed when the sirens glow red. Truth on the track while the lies play dead. Screens start to shake when the words get said. Whole room stops when the clip gets spread. Every beat drops like a classified leak. Receipts in the cut when the suits turn weak. They script the news, but the cracks still speaking.
So you notice it's the same lyrics, it's just a different.
Index red pulls files that they bury all week.
Ugh, that beat is corny. Ugh, that's this guy. I can't listen to that one. I'm a sucker for mellow beats. So even though this is whack too, let's remix it. Let's remix it live right here.
Yeah.
Cover, extend. I don't even know what that is. Extend it. I don't want it longer. That's for sure. Shorten it.
Index red in the feed when the sirens glow red. Truth on the track while the lies play dead. Screens start to shake when the words get said. Whole room stops when the clip gets spread. Every beat drops like a classified leak.
Let's remix it to like metal.
But the cracks still speak. Index red pulls files that they bury all week. Cameras on and the mask comes loose.
Those lyrics are. This is second grade lyrics, y'all. Bear with me. I actually don't mind the lyrics that much, actually.
Watch the pattern that falls when the red bar hits. Whole tan line chills. Old 4A drops brand new chills. The classified lines cut through the stills.
Where's my volume?
Like a surgeon with skills. No left, no right, just a locked in view. Who funds war? Who writes true? Who spins?
This one's way better than the other one.
Draw circles on a name or two.
It's not as corny as the other one. It's corny, but not as corny as the other one.
Someone in power does not look proud. Index red translucent to say that out loud. Every new story feels deja vu. Same black car, same small crew, same last line, no comments, no new. Index red holds clips to the anchors undo. When the sirens flash in a crimson tone. Every fake frame starts shaking the phone. They sell fear, but the script is on loan. Index red cuts chains that the hive is known. One channel stands when the feed runs thin. No blue check shield, no party spin. Just raw tape rolling where the lies begin. Index red hits play, lets the panic set in. Index lens.
I mean, that one's not making me physically cringe like the first one. So that's a win. And I like a hook. You gotta have a hook for these type of songs. Okay, they remixed it. So it's like taking slop and remixing slop.
Index red in the feed when the sirens glow red.
Oh my gosh. That is horrific. I don't even want to listen to that one. You know I'm paying money for each one of these too. I want my money back. For this one, I want my money back. This is trash. What is this? Sounds like a corny pop song. Oh. So I have to learn how to use it because there's a lot of stuff you can do with it. I just signed up the other day. Yeah, so it turns out if you take a pile of steaming feces and try to remix it, it's still a pile of steaming feces, it turns out. Let's try this one to see if this is a better version of feces. That's not metal. Okay, let's rock out for a second.
Red in the feed when the sirens glow red. Truth on the track while the lies play dead. Screens start to shake when the words get said. Whole room stops when the clip gets spread. Every beat drops like a classified leak. Receipts in the cut when the suits turn weak. They script the news but the cracks still speak. Index red pulls files that they bury all week. Cameras on and the mask comes loose. Name on the board when they tighten that noose. Same four donors keep calling it news. Index red flips frames, rewinds that ruse. Paper trail rides through the think tank halls. Backroom deals written in the long.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to learn how to make it not corny. Okay. Okay. Oh, yep. We get Eric July to do the vocals. Okay. Okay, this is a little grimier.
Red in the feed when the sirens glow red. Truth on the
So now it
track while the
sounds
lies
corny.
play dead. Screens start to shake.
Now the vocals sound corny.
Room stops when the clip gets spread. Every beat drops like a classified leak.
Turn soft.
When the suits turn weak, they script the news, but the cracks
No, that's
still
whack.
speak. Index red pulls files that they bury all week. Cameras on and the mask comes loose. Name on the board when they tighten that noose.
The beat actually is not that bad.
Calling it news. Index red flips frames, rewinds that rules. Paper trail rides through the think tank halls. Backroom deals written in the long walls. Sponsored fear in the late night calls. Index red yells, watch the pattern that falls. When the red bar hits, whole timeline chills. 04A drops brand new chills. Declassified lines cut through the stills. Index red threads dots like a surgeon with skills. No left, no right, just a locked in view. Who funds war? Who writes true? Who spins crime for a midterm cue? Index red draw circles on a name or two. Hooked on the bass when the truth feels loud. Chat lights up in a half-stunned crowd. Someone in power does not look proud. Index red turns whispers into say that out loud. Every new story feels deja vu. Same black car, same small crew. Same last line, no comment from who. Index red rolls clips at the...
Oh, okay. I'm done. I'm done. Oh, man. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thanksgiving Eve. What's up? It's radio metal. Okay, so that's corny metal. I'm going to have to learn how to tell AI I want metal, but not corny metal. The voice sounds the same. Yeah, I'm sure you can change all that. I just have to look into it. It's pretty cool. What's up, Life to the Max? How you doing? Shared to X. Oh yeah, appreciate you. Quest Fanning shared the stream to X. Um, yeah, I'm just talking. Right now, the thing on my mind is there's a couple things. The Ukraine deal. So it looks like Ukraine has tentatively agreed to a peace deal, and I want to just go through it. It has 28 points, so I'm not going to do that. But uh, as is common with these, there were talks in Geneva. This is the neutral ground where a lot of the talks to end war happen. The 28 points, we just got news today, or at least I got it today this morning, that it got slimmed down to roughly 19 points. Donald Trump had a deadline for Thanksgiving, is my understanding for it. For the news, I have been doing Gemini recently. That's a plot twist. And people have been telling me Gemini got better, and for the AI talk, I've been using ChatGPT. ChatGPT has become more slowly. They're doing a slow roll on becoming more restrictive, and it's gotten to the point where they're really annoying with how restrictive it is. And Grok, actually, I don't think I've even talked about it, but Grok has been my kind of companion with ChatGPT because Grok is pretty much unfiltered. I've messed around with Grok a little bit, and I don't know if I've seen it really censor anything. I mean, you can crash out on damn near anything with Grok. Uh, like damn near literally anything. I haven't really seen it. And Grok is in the Tesla cars. You can crash out on it. It has a conspiracy kind of option. You can do conspiracy, you can do storytelling. I was in the car with the kids and we were just like, okay, Grok, tell us a story. There's a kid's storytelling one, and then there's an adult one. So it started crashing out on some crazy adult type of story, not like sexual or anything, but it was cussing. And we are like, whoa, this is wild. And then we went to the kids one, but I was like, whoa, that's actually, I didn't expect that. So I do like Grok a lot. The Grok voice is probably better as well. I really like the Grok voice. So I've been messing around with that, but I have done a little bit of Gemini. Gemini has a cool feature where the Gemini Pro 3 is the only one I'm messing with. 3 Pro. It was whack before that, and the 3 Pro has kind of opened it up a little bit. But it has a cool thing where it kind of gives you a newspaper view, which I really like it. It's better than even Perplexity's view. So I might go to that right now actually, just to show what it looks like and how it's really, it kind of takes the news and breaks it down. It's still obviously very corporate Gemini, but it breaks it down into where you have your own live newspaper. So if I had a news website, I would definitely basically copy what Gemini is doing here because it's pretty crazy. The option I think is Canvas if you go into Gemini. Let me see if I can show it here. All right, so I'm in Gemini now. Let me see if it will I don't even know what prompt I do. Oh wait, let me just say break this down. See how this looks. I'm not really good with Gemini, so I'll see what it does here. But I want to see if it creates the newspaper view that I had before. Oh, it's breaking it down into like an editing. It's not what I like. I'm gonna have to go back to this. Let me show. This is what I had. I don't know how I even got to this in Gemini, but this is what I was referring to because I was just reading on the Ukraine stuff. This one is more about the money where it went. Oh, it's visual layout. Okay, that's what it was. Let's see here. I'm working live. This is basically what I would be doing off camera. So I want to see if I can get a visual based on what I want it to do. See it. I don't know how to get that visual, this visual layout. How did I get that? I don't know, but it's nice. Maybe you can't get it if you upload something. I'm uploading a ChatGPT article on the Ukraine stuff. I'm gonna test it real quick and see if I take that out. The visual. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you can't get the visual when you upload a PDF. Why that is, I have no idea. But so this is it. So now I'm getting a visual. So I took a ChatGPT update on the Ukraine war stuff, putting it in Gemini because I want to see a visual of it. See, ChatGPT doesn't do any visual like this with it. So basically turning it somewhat into a PowerPoint. So Russia is still playing games. They haven't formally endorsed it. While they're still, it's basically drone warfare right now where they're still, I was going to say dropping bombs, but it's really drones for the most part. We're somewhat running out of manpower over there. So Russia's been dragging this on for quite some time because they have the upper hand, they have leverage. And Trump wants it done by Thanksgiving. So Russia's just kind of dragging it as late to the deadline as possible. The whole war has been basically the United States trying to give a welfare, kind of like a socialistic style welfare bailout to the military industrial complex. That's basically my big picture takeaway from the war. I think if Donald Trump said, I want a bailout, and Donald Trump's carrying it on, obviously it started under Biden, but let's just say if the federal government wanted to say, let's bail out the military industrial complex, there's not going to be a high percentage of support for that. So instead, you get the famous Mitt Romney clip, we're losing no lives in Ukraine. This is the best war we've ever had. They're losing a lot of lives in Ukraine. We're losing no lives. So all the money, 70 to 90% of the money that's been set aside for Ukraine has gone directly to basically American companies, military companies. What they've done is use the stockpile of the old weapons. It's almost like, hey, I want to get rid of my MacBook Pro. Oh, the government gives me money. I give you my old MacBook Pro and I buy a new one. Or in this case, the government's supposed to build new ones. But the weird thing is there's no timeline on the building of the new ones or anything like that. It's just basically giving them money. So basically saying, hey, I'm going to give you $5,000 to build a new studio. You take all your old studio stuff and give it to Ukraine. And I'm going to build a new studio for everyone to use. When is that going to happen? I don't know. You can take that $5,000, do whatever you want to do with it. They're private companies, remember? They don't have to tell you anything about what they're doing with the money. But I do believe they are building new bombs. We've seen that manufacturing stuff. So they want to just replenish the stockpile. It's very awkward, though, because Russia gets their drones cheaper than it takes for us to build ours. Way cheaper. So we are stockpiling the bombs, but I think at the end of the day, I don't think anybody wants to use the bombs, because if we have, and there's many different types of ammunition and bombs, I'm not an expert in all of them, but just to say, generally speaking, at a fifth grade level, we've got 1,000,000 bombs. Russia's got 1,000,000 bombs. We don't want to get into a bombing contest with them. We don't want that, because it costs us more money to replenish the bombs than it does for them. Not to mention the nuclear threat as well. I think people are saying that we want to stockpile for China. I don't think we're doing anything with China and Taiwan. I think if China wants to take Taiwan, China's going to take Taiwan. I don't think there's no appetite for America to get involved in that, and I don't think financially we can. But that's for another day. That's another topic for another day, to look at the numbers of that. Ukraine's position. Let's take a look at that. Ukraine says they have tentatively agreed. So basically, they're on their knees. I mean, I did the take. It was probably 2 years ago, where Zelensky was in high heels, hypothetically on his knees, going to Putin saying, "End the war." I was just 2 years ahead of my time, or a year and a half, whenever it was. But it looks like Ukraine's on their knees, because they've been very defiant for a long time. And it looks like all that defiant nonsense is over. I'm up to live. Let's see here. Quest Fanning says been using Gemini quite a bit recently. Okay, help me out with that. This live stream is different. It's like Twitter. Did I do something different? StreamYard has changed some settings. I actually think I'm streaming on vertical at the same time or something like that. So tell me if something's off or wrong, because I'm out the game. I don't know what's going on. Lorna Shore is a great band. No corny metal there, Bubs. Okay. Yeah, so my cat needs is on top of this more than I am. I didn't know about the 19 until today. Unresolved issues, sensitive details, particularly around territorial arrangements. Yeah, obviously, I mean, that's part of it. Oh, Trump rescinded the deadline. I did not know that either. Well, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, he's already rescinded previous deadlines. I mean, he said it was supposed to be day one. I mean, obviously, that was more just talk on the campaign. I think we all knew that. And then now, there was one in the summer, I believe, and then now it's the Thanksgiving. We all knew that. I mean, Trump's not really in control here. Putin is. So how is Trump going to make a deadline? And the other part that I wanted to caution on was, you look at what's happening in the Middle East. Even if there is a peace deal in the Middle East, the nothing's really changed. They did a peace deal, and there's bombs still falling and Palestinians still dying. So they just continued what they wanted to do, marketed as a peace deal, and it's kind of been effective in a way. I think that people aren't talking about it. Maybe there's fatigue, or I don't know, but just from online, it doesn't seem like people are talking about what's happening in Gaza with the same energy as before. So there's great sleight of hand. It's very evil. You can see why I'm completely out on this group, or basically any support of MAGA or Trump. You do a peace deal, and the peace deal is so evil, it's just a fake mask to continue on the killing and murdering. That's really dark stuff. So that's why I don't know what this one will be, but let's look at this. Russia's engagement, cautious but open. They're just playing games. The special envoy, Steve Witkoff, and of course, Kushner will be involved. They're going to travel to Moscow next week. Wow. To meet directly with Putin. Wow, that's a big deal. So they looked at the newest draft in Russia and says it hasn't been discussed with anybody in detail. We'll get back to you. Don't call us, we'll call you. So there's parallel talks. I don't know what's going on. Maybe there's fake talks and real talks. The reality on the ground is there are still heavy clashes going on in the Zapor. I'm not going to try to pronounce these words here. Front. There's fierce battles for every meter. Major Russian missile and drone barrages struck Ukrainian cities just hours after the Geneva talks, a pattern Western observers see as deliberate strategy to gain leverage. Which, I mean, what do you mean gain leverage? He's already had the verbiage from the corporate side is very weird. To gain leverage. I mean, it's to force. I mean, they already have leverage, so you could say gain more leverage. Russia's in the driver's seat here. The European leaders were blindsided by Washington's plan. I'm not buying that. How could they be blindsided when I'm not blindsided? They're looking for security guarantees for Ukraine afterwards. And I can understand that. What's the point of making an arrangement if you can't even guarantee it? They're not going to be in NATO. That's obviously a non-starter for Russia. So they're going to say, well, maybe we'll give you NATO-like backing and you're not technically in NATO. But I can understand why they would do that, because how are you going to make a peace deal if you can't keep the peace? So that's the update on it. There's a lot of different ins and outs with what are you going to do with the money that you confiscated from all the Russian oligarchs and sanctions and then territories, basically what the 19 points come down to. But the big picture of the Russian war is, and this is what I was looking up before when I first found out about the different view in Gemini, was this stuff here. So since 2022, we've appropriated, when I say we, that means American citizens. You can say Congress, but Congress is speaking for you and I. So we have given about $175 billion in aid allocated for security, economic, humanitarian support to Ukraine. It's pretty crazy. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. So what have we gotten in return for that money? So looking at it just from an auditing standpoint, the DOD, I guess now the Department of War, Office of Inspector General, and the Government Accountability Office, they've issued reports flagging deficiencies in procurement and the tracking of high-risk military assets. What they're talking about weapons, instead they don't know where the weapons are, is what they're trying to say there. They're trying to say it's not theft, but we don't know where all the weapons are. We set aside $175 billion to give the old weapons to Ukraine, and we don't know where all of them are. That's what that means. And a lot of the accounting for this, or the issues that we've seen, weren't even from the American side. It was the Ukrainian side that found these out. The Ukrainian anti-corruption kind of departments. So if the Ukrainians are saying there's a problem, how big do you think the problem is? It's our money. Why are they doing better audits on our money than we are? This Ukrainian anti-corruption group exposed a sophisticated multi-million-dollar scheme centered around the state-owned nuclear energy company, Energoatom. The allegations involve a network of officials and associates demanding kickbacks. So there's no surprise Ukraine's one of the most corrupt countries in the planet. So they're saying they're skimming off the top from contractors under the cover of martial law regulations. This is from the Ukrainian side. So of course the Americans know all about this, but it seems like we just don't care, which is crazy. So this is the Drawdown Authority, the PDA, where I was talking about equipment is taken directly from existing stock and sent to Ukraine. Funds are then given a lot of this money. Analysis have said 70 to 90% of the allocated money went to the U.S. Went to U.S. companies. So you do have some job creation there, but I would like to sign up for the China plan myself. The China plan is better. China is not doing that. They're spending their money on infrastructure. So I went in and I asked Gemini, how many American jobs is this creating? What does that look like? The domestic economic impact. I'm trying to gauge, guys, what are we getting out of this thing? What if anything are American citizens getting out of the Ukraine war? So the only thing I could think of is job creation. Tell me if there's something else that I'm missing. It's definitely not safety. So you look at the job creation. You can look at the job creation comparison per $1 million spent. So looking at the baseline of federal defense spending for my understanding of this chart is for every $1 million spent, it's about 4.8 jobs. So you have to spend $1 million to generate about 5 jobs. When you look at infrastructure, if you spend $1 million, let's say you spend $1 million of federal money, you create 7.5 jobs. So the federal defense spending is creating or protecting jobs to a certain extent, but not efficiently. It's the least efficient out of these that I looked up. Not that I want jobs in education necessarily, but I mean, depending on what it would be, maybe it would be way better. $1 million is about 17.6 jobs in elementary or secondary education, about 9 jobs in healthcare, about 8 jobs in energy, 7.5 in infrastructure, and only 5 in defense. And what is the job? The job is making bombs. Is that what we really want our jobs to be going to? Meanwhile, these companies are all making huge bank. It's all the usual suspects. So China has their initiatives of infrastructure, even their imperialism is based off of infrastructure. And ours is built off of bombs. I don't see the trade-off. I don't like it. So the war is just a complete disaster on all fronts. It represents the failure of American citizens. It represents the failure of men. It's too bad. And it's not over. It's still pulling your strings. It's not over yet. I saw this, it came across my timeline again. It just thing comes up. This is kind of one of those blasts from the past, from the pandemic. And I don't know what's happening here, but remember Greg Abbott did the same thing. There's no difference between the right and left. This is we're talking about black people's hair again. Why are we talking about black people's hair so often? Seems like every year or so, we're talking about black people's hair, like as a serious topic of discussion. Nick Fuentes, and this has been the mantra of the channel, there is no left or right. I'm not left or right, middle MAGA, stuck in the middle. That's literally how the channel started. And it looks like Nick Fuentes got there. Have you? Maybe I should back up a little bit. Has everybody? Maybe I forget that I'm terminally online, so people might not have seen. And I will try to get the clip real quick where Nick Fuentes was basically like, "What are we doing with this left or right type stuff?" I'm gonna see if I can find it. Okay, this might be it. Clippers are back in action. Let me make sure that the audio works on this. So I'm going to back out. So I'm going to back out because we have to reset this. The right and left that are the non-corporate side, whatever you want to call them, populist. Even Nick Fuentes is using the word populist. I've called him populist before, then I always recant it because he's not really a populist, but he's the one using the word populist now. But this is what I think. This is the big clip that went viral where he was talking about the right and the left. I believe this is it.
It's time to pound our fist on the table and say, it's our way or the highway. You've enjoyed the power and privileges for long enough. Where's ours? Where's our end of the bargain? So I love it. It's time to undermine the GOP. I said it in 2020. The GOP must be destroyed. Has to be utter. And yeah, they're going to say he's a Democrat. He wants the GOP to be destroyed. The GOP serves the interests. The GOP, as presently constructed, serves the interests.
Just in case there's people who don't know what's happening here, I've never been a supporter of the GOP or the Republicans ever. No, I've never been a supporter of them. Some of the people, maybe boomers, don't understand that anybody under 50 at this point doesn't give a damn about a Republican Party. There's nobody under 50 who cares about a Republican Party or the GOP. There is no protection of the GOP, don't care about the GOP, don't care if it exists or not. Talking about as a political entity. It's a tool. I don't care a damn about a Libertarian Party. I don't give a damn about a GOP. Don't give a damn about a Democrat. If the Democrat Party could be co-opted to give me what I need, I would be a Democrat. Flat out, in a heartbeat. The parties are vehicles. That's what's happening here. Nobody cares about a GOP.
The special interests, the donors. Everybody knows that. It serves Silicon Valley and little tech. Palantir, Tesla, SpaceX, Anduril, Oracle. It serves Wall Street. That's why Ken Griffin gave them millions of dollars. It serves Miriam Adelson and the Israel lobby. This is who they work for. This is who selects the cabinet. This is who makes the policy. That's why they cut the corporate tax rate and they did nothing else. That's why they're shielding illegal immigrants from deportation as long as they're working on farms or on construction sites or in hospitality. That's why they're still providing for H-1B visas. That's why they're still providing for Chinese students. That's why they back down on the tariffs. That's why they back down on everything. So this is the blueprint. This is how we take over. And by the way, hey, and get a load of this. Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie working together against the interests to compel the files. What do you think that has? A 90% approval rating? If you had progressive Democrats and nationalist Republicans working together, let's say to compel the release of the Epstein files, what kind of approval rating do you think that has? 90%? And what if they got together and they opposed foreign aid to Israel? What approval rating do you think that would have? 90%? What if they got together and worked on the basis of a common interest? Do you think that that Republicans or independents running under that brand, do you think that that would become more popular or less popular over time? 4 becomes 8, 8 becomes 16. It snowballs. And we need to propel someone into the White House that is just a populist. And here's where we're going to have to give. This is going to be the compromise. Very simple. The left has to give up immigration. That's simple. The left is going to have.
What does this sound like? Remember, for a brief period of time, which I've never disagreed with it, just haven't talked about it a lot, I was enthralled with the phrase MAGA communism. And I know Nick and Jackson Hinkle have beef with, which I've always hated that beef. That is just brutal to watch those two camps have beef. I would love for a reconciliation there. Jackson Hinkle's the one who's going to have to initiate that, because to me, even though I like Jackson a lot, he's more wrong. But my point is, this has been the whole channel the whole time. And that's what Nick's talking about right here. You could understand my surprise. I'm not totally surprised, because Nick's base, he's not worried about how things look. But this is MAGA communism, guys.
Very simple. The left has to give up immigration. That
literally did live streams 2-3 years ago talking about, well, what would the left and right hypothetically have to give up? And here we go. This is very dangerous talk for somebody who is as prominent as Nick, though. He can talk about Jews and all of that and then get kind of blacklisted and kind of shunned, not monetized on Rumble. And I guess he has super chats now. I don't know if he's monetized other than that. I don't think he is, but maybe he will be. But he's not monetized on YouTube. You can do that. But when you start talking about left and right getting together, that's historically where bad things start to happen. The government doesn't like that. It's very, very problematic for someone prominent to be talking like this. This is the most dangerous thing, and you got to pray for Nick. This is the most dangerous thing he's ever said by far. The most dangerous proposal he's ever done by far.
Become more popular or less popular over time. 4 becomes 8, 8 becomes 16. It snowballs. And we need to propel someone into the White House that is just a populist. And here's where we're going to have to give. This is going to be the compromise. Very simple. The left has to give up immigration. That's simple. The left is going to have to give up. Look, we can have equity and we can have equality in the country. We can have civil rights. We can have all those things. But we have to close the damn borders. We have to close it. Too many illegal immigrants.
I actually don't. I mean, he's just, this is not to knock Nick here, because you don't want to get too much in the minutia. That just destroys the message. But I think civil rights is a more fundamental, it might be more than immigration for me. The concept of civil rights is a problem. Because if you have civil rights, then you're always going to have the same type of immigration power struggle. The left is not against immigration. The left is perfectly fine if blacks and browns are immigrating. It doesn't matter where they're from, as long as they're non-whites, basically, non-Asians, non-whites. So if you had, I hate to phrase it like this, but if you had beautiful blondes coming here from whatever Scandinavian country, the left would be very upset. They'd be like, what's going on? If you had a bunch of, and I don't want to sidetrack, but she's not as attractive as other people put her. But if you have if you had a million Sydney Sweeney's coming across the border, the left would be very upset because of the whiteness. I mean, it's just the bottom line. So that means, if that's true, then that means they're not for immigration. They're more for blacks or browns, or that they believe that they're in some type of coalition, a world coalition with blacks and browns. So more fundamentally, civil rights is the problem. You think that blacks and browns are going to come here and they're going to be for these type of policies. If you had a bunch of 6'3" Scandinavian women coming here, they would be rioting. They'd be like, get the hell out. Even the Cubans, who tend to vote more conservative, they don't want that. But I'll just let them cook.
Too many legal immigrants. That has to be the compromise. The left has to give on immigration, and the right has to give.
And I'm going to have to I do disagree with the priority, because Nick has always been like, immigration is one of the top topics. But this is where I say I'm even more crashed out on the Jews, Zionists, more than Nick, in a way, because I think that what is the point of getting Pablo and, I don't know, Bonita, whatever, who's picking strawberries, working at a hotel, working construction? Let's say we hypothetically booted all of them out of the country. We still have the fundamental problem of what are the Jews in power going to do next? That's the fundamental problem. So that problem doesn't get fixed. It has to be a peaceful solution of acquiring power. And he talks about that. That I don't care about immigration if we don't have non-Zionist Christian men in power. What is you're not going to boot them out the country first and foremost, and what would that even accomplish? I mean, it would help in a way, but it wouldn't change the fundamental who's steering the ship. You're basically booting the immigrants off the ship. Hypothetically, even if you could do that, I guess the ship will be lighter, more nimble. There'll be more food to distribute. But my question is, who's captain? Where are we heading? That doesn't change. So it's immigration. I'm completely out on immigration. I don't care. I mean, Trump's in office now and not doing anything. So your push for immigration is just a waste.
If on the free market, if the right can come down on healthcare and on a social safety net and maybe on some subsidies for education.
What? Nick, you've been going through the archives. You've been going through my archives, Nick. I'm gonna have to call you out on that, bro. I mean, the chat. You go back to the chat. We started talking about the healthcare. Basically, the whole beef with Jimmy Dore and Medicare for all, and Nick is basically saying you're going to have to give up on universal healthcare coverage. What?
Because of too many.
Now, Charlie Kirk, actually, when he did his, rest in peace, when he did his campus stuff, there was one time I'll never forget. It came up a couple times when people asked Charlie Kirk about covering everybody with healthcare, and Charlie Kirk is like, that's a discussion I'm willing to have. Wow.
We have to close it. Too many illegal immigrants. Too many legal immigrants. That has to be the compromise. The left has to give on immigration, and the right has to give on the free market.
Wow.
If the right can come down on healthcare,
wow,
and on a social safety net, and maybe on some subsidies for education, and if the left can come down on the anti-white open border stuff, and they can agree that we have a country, that party will win 90% of the vote and rule for a century. Where
do I sign up? I'm waiting, but my friends on the left, where are you? There's a proposal out here. If Nick says something about blacks or whatever else, you're right there, ready to comment. I haven't heard you comment on this. Where are you at? I don't. How do you on the left not sign up for this? What's the downside? It shows you that in the right is really more about business than the left. This is the proposal, guys. Giving up on the free market. And I love how Nick's doing that. We don't have a free market, so we're not really giving anything up. Don't tell the left that, though.
White open border stuff, and they can agree that we have a country, that party will win 90% of the vote and rule for a century. That's the compromise. That's the populist compromise. Why is it that for the left, it's like they don't even care about anything else? It just has to be open borders. And on the right, it's like they don't care about anything else as long as it's foreign aid to Israel and war in the Middle East and war with Russia. That's the kind of program that we need.
I tells you, Nick's about something. You don't really put a proposal. You don't on the right say, you know what, we're going to give up on the. We all know there's no free market here. We're going to give up on the idea of the free market and be open to universal health care coverage for every citizen as a negotiation without being serious. So that's the position of right and left, trying to find a common ground. And the whole point is Nick is saying, well, we should do that because when you look at it, the right and the left, they're the corporate right and the left, the non-populist right and the left. They're on the same page with the same grift. Here we have, just to give you a factual representation of what's happening, a Jew standing behind black women with a few black men in the background, talking about black people's hair.
Human Relations Commission. The same would happen for our bill because now hair discrimination is part of the protected class of race, which is in the PA Human Relations Act. So they could call their statewide Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission, and they're also satellite offices all across the state. Human Relations Commission. The same would happen for our bill because now hair discrimination is part of the protected class of race, which is in the PA Human Relations Act. So they could call their statewide Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission, and they're also satellite offices all across the state. Human Relations.
So proud, so much energy, so much courage, the courage to talk about black hair.
Commission. The same would happen for our bill because now hair discrimination is part of the
hair discrimination. Where are we going with this? You're making me want to clown you for your hair. I didn't care about your hair until you started using the term hair discrimination. Embrace it. You have nappy ass hair. That's beautiful. Embrace it. You don't need to weave it out. You don't need to perm it out. You don't need to straighten it out. Even though I do like the hairstyles from the 90s, you could bring that back for a day or two. You don't need to Jasmine Crockett it out. Just wear it. Be proud of it. Maintain it. But what I do need you to do is shut the hell up about hair discrimination. Do you hear how proud she sounds here? And look at them just standing proud. What kind of example is this for our children? That you're standing up there being manipulated literally by a nose behind you. And look at the black men in the background. What is this visual?
Human Relations Commission.
Is this AI? What would you if I wanted to create this in AI, it would be literally Jew governor, incompetent black women, proud about hair discrimination, black men in the background like bitches. That's literally what I would have to do if I wanted to recreate this in AI.
Human Relations Commission. The same would happen for our bill because now hair discrimination is part of the protected class of race, which is in the PA Human Relations Act. So they could call their statewide Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission, and they're also satellite offices all across the state.
Okay. So that's the left. That's the political left. Here's the political right. Let's check in on the political right and see how they're doing.
It bans race-based.
This is Greg Abbott.
New this hour.
The Lone Star State, the most rebellious state in the nation 2 years ago.
New this hour, Governor Abbott signed the Crown Act today. It bans race-based hair discrimination in Texas. This includes hairstyles such as locks and braids. 2 Houston area students inspired the movement after they were told to cut their hair or be disciplined. The law takes effect on September 1st.
That's the right. So what are we doing? The right and the left, they're literally exactly the same on many topics. When it comes to war, when it comes to Israel, when it comes to blacks' hair, they're the same thing. They unite. Ben Shapiro and Barry Weiss. Barry Weiss is, I believe, a lesbian, gay, Jew. On the left, more liberal, more. Ben Shapiro's supposed to be on the right, Jew, huge yarmulke. They're not really supposed to be on the same political spectrum, but they're on the same page. They're on the same page when it comes to any important issue on the country. So I think it's time to just put the differences aside and it's time to do basically what they are doing. Otherwise, we're going to get crushed. So I'm going to be out. I might do, I'm well, I was clowning Marjorie Taylor Greene for working virtual. I'm working. So let me get back to work, y'all. I'm out.